In this case, the first point, we'll have to opt for a hybrid, whereby we mix both. Because if you look at the advantages and the disadvantages of both of the systems, it's quite an integration, whereby in proprietary enterprise, training and integration is at an advantage, and open source, we have to download free softwares where we have to train the databases and the skills which has to be offered to the people. On the deployment models, we know that we have many deployment models. We have infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. But also, we have the traditional on-premises. According to our standards, it is better for us to opt for on-premises because we will have ownership. As the opening motion of this mapping, it was one of the points was on data ownership. So how can we own the data if we don't have on-premises infrastructure? So having on-premises infrastructure will help us to build, and it will help us to deliver and to own the data instead of relying on somebody else's cloud where we don't have proper governance of our data in a way that it's managed by a third party. On-premises solution will help us to build even the skill sets we need, because for us to achieve this, we'll need a skill set as compared to purchasing something which is already there. We now go to the pillars of the discussion. So the first pillar was to do with performance. So performance should be based on latest software and hardware technologies, because the whole reason for this is for us to properly map the systems in Malawi. So if we are looking at performance, it has to be with the latest software and hardware technologies in a way that the hardware which we are going to adapt should be hardware which can be easily upgradable within the 4 years. And the security, when we talk about security, there has to be layers for both the operators and the public. For example, a certain operator has to have a portal where they should log in and access their credentials there of their whole mapping systems. As the case to do with Romania, where the first phases people were in a conflict, I can say, to align to one decision. At the end of the day, they ended up having one solid mapping, which is generally available to the public. So for security, there has to be layers for data access. Because if you look at the competition also, let's say, for example, ISP A has competition with ISP B. Chances are high that they will view the mapping and choose to capitalize that. So there has to be layers, and there has to be a central repository where they have to report to. So this will help us to judge or to divide or to group data according to the criticality, according to the, I can say according to the quality of the data, okay? Like for example, this data is generally available for everyone. This data is for the public, this data is for the operator. So there has to be layers of access. Okay, and scalability. When you look at scalable solutions, we are talking about easily upgradable softwares, hardware systems, as compared to traditional waterfall models. So we have to adapt, traditional practices adapting to waterfall, where we have to adapt new methods of agility. Talking about integration, the operators should be able to share the data. They should be able to share the data to their fellow operators and to the general public, because this will help us as a form of awareness. And to talk about the security aspect again, there has to be redundancy infrastructure which has to be developed. Primarily redundancy. Okay, we cannot rely on one data set, saying that we have our own infrastructure on premises, and from that premises we should, in case something happens or in case of an emergency, there has to be a redundant system whereby we should be able to safeguard ourselves. So that is all we discussed. Thank you.
Thank you very much for Group 1. Colleagues, the idea of this exercise is actually to trigger a conversation and reaction from the two other groups. So we should open, the conversation now for our policymakers and our data people, in case you have any questions, reactions, agreement. I hope no disagreement.